Captain Jeho Park stood at the bridge of the EDF Vigilant, watching Earth grow smaller in the viewport. This was humanity's 10th successful faster-than-light jump, but he still felt butterflies in his stomach. The year was 2157, and mankind had finally reached for the stars. "Captain, we have unusual readings at the edge of the solar system," said Lieutenant Su-Min Lee, her eyes fixed on the sensor display. "It's like nothing we've seen before." Jeho walked to her station, his boots making soft sounds on the metal floor. The readings showed a massive object, bigger than any human ship, moving toward them at incredible speed. "Send a message to Earth Command," he ordered, "and prepare the crew for possible first contact." The bridge crew worked quickly but quietly. They had trained for this moment, but training was different from reality. The unknown ship slowed down as it approached, revealing its true size. It was as big as a small city. "They're broadcasting a message," Su-Min announced. "It's in English." The main screen lit up, showing a tall, blue-skinned being with 4 eyes. "Greetings, humans of Earth. I am High Speaker Ray of the Avalon Confederation. We have been watching your progress with great interest." Jeho straightened his uniform. "I am Captain Jeho Park of the Earth Defense Force. We welcome peaceful contact with your civilization." The alien smiled, or at least Jeho thought it was a smile. "Captain, your species has achieved much in a short time. The Confederation would like to establish diplomatic relations. We represent 15 advanced species who work together for peace and progress." Over the next few weeks, Earth buzzed with excitement. The Avalon Confederation shared amazing technologies and knowledge. They helped improve human ships and offered trade deals. Everything seemed perfect. But Ambassador Su-Min Lee, who had been promoted from her lieutenant position, noticed small things that worried her. The aliens often whispered among themselves when they thought no humans were listening. They asked too many questions about Earth's military capabilities and colony plans. During a diplomatic dinner, she overheard 2 alien delegates talking in their language. Her universal translator caught fragments. "Expand too fast," and "must be controlled." She brought her concerns to Captain Jeho. "Something isn't right," she said, showing him her notes. "They're being too helpful, too quickly. It's like they're studying us." Jeho looked out his office window at the massive alien ships hovering above Earth's major cities. "Keep watching and recording everything," he said. "But be careful. If they are hiding something, we need to know what it is before we show our hand." On the surface, humans celebrated their entry into galactic society. But in secret meetings, Earth's leaders began preparing for the possibility that their new alien friends might not be friends at all. They increased military production and started hidden research programs, all while smiling and nodding at their alien visitors. The last war hadn't started yet, but its seeds were already being planted. Neither humans nor aliens realized that their actions in these early days would lead to events that would change the galaxy forever. 6 months after first contact, the mood on Earth had changed. The Avalon Confederation's true nature was starting to show. They demanded that humans stop building new colonies, claiming that Earth was expanding too aggressively. Captain Jeho Park didn't like it. He was investigating the loss of contact with 3 human mining stations when he found something strange. "Look at this," he told Ambassador Su-Min, showing her his tablet. All 3 stations lost power in exactly the same way. Su-Min studied the data. "Sabotage." "Yes. And look who visited each station just before they went dark." Jeho played a video showing Confederation ships near each station. Military advisor Tai-1 Kim called an emergency meeting with Earth's leaders. The old soldier's face was grim as he showed them the evidence. "The aliens are testing our defenses," he said. "They visit our colonies, study our weaknesses, then strange accidents happen." "But why?" asked one of the leaders. "They said they wanted peace." Tai-1 pointed to a map of human space. "Because we're growing too fast. In 1 year, we've built more ships than they expected. Our technology is catching up to theirs." They're scared of us. That same day, the colony on Proxima Centauri sent a distress call. 3 ships have vanished near our space, the colony leader reported. They just disappeared. No debris, no distress calls, nothing. Ambassador Sumin tried to talk to the Confederation leaders. We want to solve this peacefully, she said at a meeting. Tell us what you really want. The alien high speaker's 4 eyes blinked slowly. We want you to know your place, young species. The galaxy has order. Rules. You humans ignore them all. We have a right to grow, Sumin argued. To protect ourselves. You have a right to exist, the high speaker said. Under our guidance. Your choice is simple. Accept limits on your expansion, or face the consequences. Back on Earth, Captain Jaiho met with engineer Min Seo Kwan in a secret underground lab. Show me what you've been working on, he said. Min Seo pulled a cover off a strange-looking device. They think they know all our weapons, she said with a small smile. They don't. We've been holding back, preparing for something like this. Will it be enough? Jaiho asked. They have no idea what humans can do when we're pushed into a corner, Min Seo answered. No idea at all. That night, as Jaiho looked at the stars from his office window, he saw the alien ships glowing in orbit. Soon, they wouldn't look so peaceful anymore. The aliens thought they were dealing with a young, weak species that would bow down when threatened. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The attack came at dawn. Hundreds of alien ships appeared above Earth's outer colonies without warning. Their weapons turned the sky purple as they fired. Lieutenant Hajun Choi was having breakfast when the alarms went off at New Hope Colony. He ran to the control room, still pulling on his uniform. Status report, he shouted. 30 Confederation warships in orbit, his officer said. They're demanding immediate surrender. Hajun looked at the colony's population counter, 50,000 civilians. Begin evacuation, he ordered. Get everyone to the underground shelters. Launch all emergency ships. The colony's shield stopped the first wave of attacks, but it wouldn't last long. Hajun organized the evacuation while bombs fell from the sky. He helped children into escape pods and carried old people to safety. Sir, the shield is at 20%, someone reported. How many civilians are still above ground? Less than 1,000. Hajun nodded. We can do this. Back on Earth, Commander Sun Haikang watched the attacks on multiple screens. 3 colonies under attack at once. The aliens had planned this well. Should we launch a full counterattack? Her assistant asked. Not yet, Sun Hai said. First, we evacuate our people. Then we show them what humanity's really capable of. In space, Captain Jaiho Park commanded a rescue fleet. His ships were smaller than the alien vessels, but they were faster. They slipped through the alien blockade, picking up escape pods and running. Captain, his sensor officer called. Look at their attack pattern. They're not just attacking. They're taking positions around all our colonies. They planned this for months. Jaiho knew she was right. The Confederation had studied human defenses and prepared carefully. They thought they knew everything about Earth's military strength. Ambassador Su Min Lee faced the Alien Council one last time. You've started a war you don't understand, she told them. The High Speaker laughed. Your species is young and weak. This war will be over quickly. Yes, Su Min agreed, but not the way you think. That evening, Earth's leaders met in a bunker deep underground. They looked at pictures of burning colonies and lists of casualties. The time for peace was over. Activate the hidden fleets, the president ordered. Call in all our ships. It's time to show them what happens when you push humanity too far. Lieutenant Hajun watched from an escape ship as his colony disappeared behind him. They had saved 47,000 people. Now it was time for revenge. Humanity had held back its true strength, waiting and watching. The aliens thought they knew what humans could do. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The real war was about to begin. Dr. Yoon-hee Park typed the final code into her computer. After 3 days of losing colonies, Earth was ready to fight back. Project Thunderstorm is ready, she announced to the War Council. The alien ships never saw it coming. One moment they were winning, the next moment their shields stopped working. Human weapons that they had thought weak suddenly cut through their strongest defenses like paper. How is this possible? The High Speaker demanded, watching his fleet burn. Their technology was primitive. Captain Jai-Ho smiled as he watched from his command ship. Humans had shown the aliens only their basic weapons, hiding their true strength. Now it was time to reveal everything. Launch the ghost ships, he ordered. Across space, ships appeared out of nowhere. They had been hiding using technology the aliens didn't know humans had. These ships were faster and stronger than anything the aliens had seen before. Sir, the enemy is retreating in all sectors, reported Jai-Ho's officer. Don't let them escape, Jai-Ho said. Show them what happens when you attack Earth. Dr. Yoon, he watched her screens as Project Thunderstorm did its work. The weapon didn't just disable alien shields, it turned their own energy against them. Each alien ship that tried to fire its weapons only hurt itself. You knew this would happen. Ambassador Su-min asked her. We've been preparing since they first arrived. Yoon, he explained. They were so busy studying our old technology. They never noticed us studying theirs. In space, the battle turned into a rout. Alien ships tried to run, but human vessels were everywhere. The Confederation's carefully planned attack fell apart in hours. They're sending a surrender message, Jai-Ho's communications officer said. Tell them it's too late for that, Jai-Ho replied. They wanted to see humanity's real power. Now they will. Engineer Min Seo-Kwan activated her new weapon systems across the human fleet. Beams of light that could cut through any material. Missiles that could follow ships through faster than light jumps. Technologies that the aliens had thought impossible for humans to develop. How? Captured alien officers kept asking. How did you hide all this? The answer was simple. Humans had learned from history. When you meet a stronger enemy, you don't show them everything you can do. You wait, you watch, and you prepare. By the end of the day, 3 alien fleets had been destroyed. The Confederation's invasion force was in ruins. But this was just the beginning. Humanity wasn't going to stop until they made sure no one would ever dare attack Earth again. Captain Jai-Ho Park stood on his bridge as the human fleet prepared to attack the Avalon Confederation's home system. 3 months had passed since their first counterattack, and now humanity was ready to end this war. All ships report ready, his officer said. The new shield breakers are charged. Jai-Ho nodded. Begin the attack. 1,000 human ships appeared around the aliens' capital world. The Confederation had built their headquarters here, thinking it was safe. They were wrong. Engineer Min Seo-Kwan's new weapons worked perfectly. The alien shields didn't just fail. They exploded, taking whole ships with them. The Confederation fleet tried to fight back, but their weapons couldn't touch the human ships. 4 alien species are sending surrender signals, reported the communications officer. More will follow, Jai-Ho said. They're finally learning. In her lab on Earth, Min Seo watched the battle through live feeds. Her computers showed how the aliens tried to adapt their shields, but it was too late. She had spent years studying their technology, finding every weakness. Their main defense station is falling, someone reported. The alien capital's defenses were supposed to be unbreakable, but they broke anyway. Human ships moved through them like they weren't even there. On the Confederation command station, the High Speaker watched in horror. How? He asked nobody in particular. They were primitives just a few years ago. The answer came from Ambassador Su-min Lee, who now led the assault team boarding his station. You made a simple mistake, she told him as her soldiers took control. You'd thought technology was everything. But humanity's real strength isn't our weapons. What is it then? The High Speaker asked. When you attacked us, you united us. Every human everywhere worked together to defeat you. While you watched our ships, our scientists worked in secret. While you study our old weapons, we built new ones. While you thought we were weak, we grew stronger." The High Speaker's 4 eyes blinked in understanding. Too late, he realized what his people had done. They had attacked a species that looked primitive, but had the potential to be greater than any of them. "The remaining Confederation forces are retreating," Jaiho's officer reported. "Should we pursue?" "No need," Jaiho said. "They've learned their lesson. But to make sure they don't forget." He pressed a button, and a new weapon activated. In seconds, the Confederation's mighty defense network, built over centuries, turned to dust. The message was clear: never threaten humanity again. 5 alien species still refused to surrender. They gathered their remaining ships for one final attack on Earth. It would be their last mistake. "They've assembled the largest fleet we've ever seen," Captain Jaiho reported to Earth Command. "Over 10,000 ships." Dr. Yoon-hee Park watched the alien fleet approach. She knew what had to be done. "It's time to use the Pale Horse Protocol," she said quietly. The room went silent. Everyone knew what that meant. The Pale Horse was humanity's darkest weapon, something they had hoped never to use. "Are you sure?" asked the Earth President. "They leave us no choice," Yoon-hee answered. "They would rather destroy themselves than admit defeat." The alien fleet jumped into Earth's solar system, ready for their final battle. Their weapons were at full power. Their soldiers were ready to die. But they had never seen anything like what happened next. Yoon-hee activated the Pale Horse. There was no explosion, no flash of light. The alien ships just stopped. Their engines died. Their weapons went cold. Even their life support systems shut down. "What did you do to them?" Jaiho asked over the comm. "Their own technology is turning against them," Yoon-hee explained. "Every system on their ships is failing at once." The aliens tried to retreat, but it was too late. The effect spread from ship to ship like a disease. In less than an hour, the mighty fleet became nothing but floating metal. But the Pale Horse wasn't finished. The effect reached 3 star systems where the aliens had hidden their backup fleets. Everything mechanical or electronic simply stopped working. Billions of credits worth of technology turned to useless junk. "Send the rescue ships," Jaiho ordered. "Save as many of them as we can." As human ships moved in to rescue the stranded alien crews, the message spread across the galaxy. The species that everyone had thought primitive had just disabled 3 entire star systems without firing a single shot. Ambassador Su-min received the final surrender request an hour later. It came from all remaining Confederation species at once. They had finally understood what they were dealing with. That evening, Dr. Yoon-hee looked at the casualty reports. The Pale Horse Protocol had worked perfectly. It had stopped the war without killing anyone. But it had shown the galaxy something terrifying. Humanity could turn off civilization itself if they wanted to. "Was it worth it?" Jaiho asked her. "They needed to understand," she replied. "Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is show your enemy exactly why they should never fight you again." Ambassador Su-min Lee stood before the new Galactic Council, looking at faces of aliens who had once been enemies. 1 month had passed since the final surrender, and everything had changed. "The terms are simple," she said. "Earth will not take your territories. We will not demand your resources. We ask only 2 things: that you never again threaten humanity, and that you help rebuild what was destroyed." The aliens agreed quickly. They had seen what humans could do. The memory of the Pale Horse Protocol was still fresh in their minds. Captain Jaiho Park had become famous across the galaxy. Alien children pointed at him when he walked past. "That's the human who defeated our greatest fleet," they whispered. But Jaiho didn't feel like a hero. "Was it worth it?" he asked Su-min one evening, watching alien workers rebuild a destroyed colony. "Look around," she answered. "For the first time in galactic history, everyone is working together. Fear of war has brought peace." The rebuilding happened faster than anyone expected. Humans shared their technology with their former enemies, but kept some secrets. The Pale Horse Protocol was locked away, a reminder of what could happen if anyone tried to start another war. Dr. Yoon-hee Park led the reconstruction efforts. She helped aliens rebuild their disabled systems, showing them new ways to use their own technology. Many were surprised to find that humans could be kind to those who had tried to destroy them. "We don't want to rule the galaxy," she explained to a group of alien scientists. "We just want to make sure no one makes the same mistake again." The Avalon Confederation was dissolved. In its place, a new alliance formed, one where Earth had a strong voice but didn't control everything. Former enemies became trading partners. Old hatreds began to fade. "They're calling it the Pax Humana," Su-min told Jiho. "Peace through the knowledge of what humanity can do if pushed too far." Jiho watched ships from a dozen species dock at Earth's new space station. "Peace through fear isn't perfect," he said. "No," Su-min agreed, "but it's better than war. And maybe one day, the fear will turn into respect." The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humanity wasn't weak. They weren't primitive. They were something new. A species that could be both terrible in war and generous in peace. 50 years had passed since the last war. Defense Chief Jin-woo Park stood at the window of his office on Earth's orbital station, watching ships from 30 different species dock peacefully. He smiled, thinking about his grandfather, the famous Captain Jiho Park. The old hero had passed away last year, but his legacy lived on. No species had dared to start a war since the day humanity revealed its true power. "Chief Park," his assistant called. "The alien students are here for their history lesson." Jin-woo turned to face a group of young aliens. They came from all the species that had once fought against Earth. Now they came to learn. "Tell us about the last war," a young alien asked. "Was it really as bad as the stories say?" "Worse," Jin-woo said. "But it taught the galaxy something important. Strength isn't just about having the biggest ships or the most advanced weapons. It's about what you're willing to do to protect your people." He showed them pictures from the war. The students gasped when they saw the Pale Horse Protocol in action. Could humans still do that? One asked nervously. "We could," Jin-woo admitted. "But we won't, as long as there's peace." Later that day, Jin-woo met with Ambassador Su-min Lee, now in her 80s but still sharp as ever. They watched alien children playing with human kids in the station's park. "Would you believe this was possible 50 years ago?" she asked. "Grandfather always said peace would come," Jin-woo replied. "He just didn't expect it to come from making everyone too scared to fight." "Fear fades," Su-min said wisely. "Look at those children. They're not afraid of humans. They respect us because we won the war but didn't take revenge. We helped rebuild instead." A message arrived from Earth's long-range scouts. They had found new alien civilizations at the edge of known space, young species just starting to explore the stars. "What should we tell them about humanity?" Jin-woo's aide asked. "Tell them the truth," Jin-woo said. "That humans want peace. That will help those who want to be friends, and that we remember what happened in the last war. That was humanity's new role in the galaxy. Not conquerors, not rulers, but guardians. Keeping the peace because everyone knew what would happen if peace was broken. The last war had ended, but its lesson would last forever. Never underestimate humanity. Never force them to show their full strength. And never forget that the species that could break worlds chose instead to help rebuild them."